Hi guys, this is Seven. Welcome back. Today we are going to talk about the first principles of AI. To save your time, there will be four parts that we will be covering. The first is what are first principles? This may be the first time that you hear about this concept, right? So I will give you a brief introduction to make you fully understand the basic essence of first principles. The second is, do first principles exist in AI? Not all fields or industries have first principles. So we must figure out whether the first principles exist in AI. And if the answer is yes, then the third one, I will give you my understanding about what the foundational principles of AI might be. Finally, the last one, what can we learn from this? We will discuss the practical insights and lessons that we take from understanding first principles of AI. So, let's get started. I guess that if you heard about the first principles before, you probably hear from Elon Musk, right? Well, in one of his interviews, Elon said, "Don't just follow the trend. You may have heard me say that it's good to think in terms of the physics approach of first principles, which is, rather than reasoning by analogy, you boil things down to the most fundamental truth that you can imagine and you reason up from there." So, what does this mean? Well, instead of relying on what others have done or what seems popular, we should dig deep to understand the most basic truth of a problem. Once we have those fundamental truths, and we can build our understanding and solutions from the ground up. For example, when Elon was working on SpaceX, he didn't just accept the high cost of the rocket. He broke down the problem to its basic components and asked, what are the raw materials needed to build a rocket? So, by understanding the fundamental elements, he found ways to make rockets much cheaper. After discussing Elon's approach to first principles, let's just take a step back in history. The concept of first principles was actually first introduced by Aristotle, who is an ancient Greek philosopher. Aristotle is considered one of the greatest thinkers in history, and he laid the groundwork for many areas of knowledge, including philosophy and science. Aristotle defined the first principles as the basic foundational propositions or assumptions that cannot be deduced from any other propositions or assumptions. That might sound abstract, right? So, in simple terms, it is the first basis from which a thing is known. It is the basic, foundational, self evident truth. Aristotle believed that first principles are the most basic building blocks of knowledge. They are the starting points from which we can develop further understanding and reasoning. So, when we talk about first principles, we are talking about looking beyond the surface, beyond the assumptions and the norms, and getting to the very core of an issue. By doing this, we can gain a deeper and clearer understanding, which can lead to more innovative and effective solutions. Well, philosophy can sometimes be quite abstract. So let me just give you a more concrete example from mathematics. In Euclidean geometry, there are five main axioms. These axioms form the foundation of Euclidean geometry. For example, they said a straight line can be drawn between any 2 points, and they said all right angles are equal. And there are other three axioms. These axioms are taken as self-evident truth, and from them, many other geometric principles and theorems are derived. They provide a solid foundation upon which the entire structure of Euclidean geometry is built. Axioms are important because they provide a common ground from which all mathematicians can start their reasoning and build their argument. Without axioms, it will be difficult to have a consistent and reliable mathematical system. We've discussed how Elon Musk and Aristotle have emphasized the importance of first principles. We've also looked at how these principles apply in mathematics through Euclidean axioms. Now, let's just summarize the essence of the first principles, which is the core of first principles lies in deductive reasoning in logic. Let's move on to our second part. Do first principles exist in AI? Well, according to our earlier definition, the essence of the first principles lies in deductive reasoning. So, if AI has its own first principles, does it mean that AI should develop through deductive reasoning? If we want to know the answer, we need to step back to the history of the development of AI. The development of AI has come through phases inspired by both logic and biology. Initially, AI was heavily based on logical rules and reasoning, known as symbolic AI. This approach used clear and explicit rules to make decisions. However, this method had limitations in dealing with real-world complexities. Over time, AI development shifted towards biological inspiration, particularly neural networks. Neural networks mimic the way that the human brain works, allowing AI to learn from data and improve over time. This approach uses inductive reasoning, where the AI learns from specific examples and data to generalize and make predictions. This has led to significant advancement in AI capabilities, making it more flexible and powerful in handling complex tasks. Today, neural networks and deep learning are at the forefront of AI technology. So, we see that at least for now, most AI does not rely solely on deductive reasoning. Instead, it often uses inductive reasoning. But even so, we cannot say that AI does not have its own first principles. I guess that you may be confused now, right? Hold on. Let's take a look at Gödel's incompleteness theorems. Gödel's incompleteness theorems are fundamental in understanding the limits of formal systems. Gödel showed that in any sufficiently powerful logical system, it is impossible to achieve both completeness and consistency simultaneously. You may notice that there are two main keywords: completeness and consistency. Completeness ensures that all true statements can be proven within the system. This makes this system comprehensive and useful. And consistency ensures that no contradictions can be derived within the system. This is crucial for the system to be reliable and effective. So, in simple terms, Gödel believed that a system cannot be both entirely consistent and complete. This means that while a system can be reliable, let's say consistent, it might not be able to prove all truths, which is complete, and vice versa. This principle also applies to AI, highlighting that the balance between being effective and comprehensive. What I will say next is very important. So, according to Gödel's conclusions, AI cannot be both complete and consistent. Completeness can be understood as inductive reasoning, while consistency can be understood as deductive reasoning. In other words, AI can use both inductive and deductive reasoning. Ultimately, the presence of deductive reasoning in AI indicates that AI does have its own first principles. Additionally, AI's use of inductive reasoning involves parameter tuning and optimization. Therefore, we can conclude that AI's first principles are closely related to optimization. Since we acknowledge that AI have its own principles, so what exactly are they? In my understanding, the principle that best represents AI's first principles is the principle of least action. You may say, oh, seven, least action. That does not sound fancy. Well, principle of least action is a fundamental concept in physics. It states that the path taken by a system between two states is the one for which the action is minimized. In simple terms, it means that the nature always chooses the path of least resistance or the most efficient route. Action in this context is a quantity that depends on the dynamics of the system, including factors like energy and time. The principle is widely used in classical mechanics, quantum mechanics, and even general relativity, making it a powerful tool for understanding natural phenomena. Oh, then you may ask me, oh seven, why can the principle of least action be viewed as AI's first principle? Well, let me give you four main reasons. The first is optimization. In AI, especially in neural networks and machine learning, the goal is to optimize models to minimize errors. This is similar to the principle of least action, where the systems seek the path that minimize effort and cost. The second, efficiency. AI systems like natural process aim to find the most efficient solutions. This means minimizing complexity and maximizing performance, aligning with the principle of least action. The third is adaptability. The principle of least action allows systems to adapt by finding the most efficient path. Similarly, AI systems learn and adjust to improve performance, reflecting the same adaptability. The last one, foundation of algorithms. This is very important. Many key AI algorithms like gradient descent operate on principles similar to the principle of least action, adjusting models to reduce errors and find optimal solutions. Therefore, we can conclude that the principle of least action is not just a powerful concept in physics, but also serves as a foundational principle in AI. It encapsulates the essence of AI's goal to optimize, adapt, and efficiently solve complex problems. So, after exploring the concept of first principles, understanding their presence in AI, and identifying the principles of least action as the foundational elements, what can we learn from all this? Let me just share four lessons from my side. The first is the power of first principles thinking. First principles thinking encourages us to break down complex problems into their most basic elements. By doing this, we can gain a clearer understanding and find innovative solutions that others might overlook. This method is not just useful in AI, but it can be applied to many fields and everyday life challenges. Whether you are working on a scientific problem, a business strategy, or a personal development, starting from first principles can lead to a more effective and creative solution. The second is the importance of optimization. The principle of least action highlights the significance of optimization. In AI, optimization helps us create models that are not only accurate but also efficient. This principle can be applied to other areas as well. For instance, optimizing process in a business can lead to better performance and cost savings. And in our personal life, optimizing our time and resources lead to greater productivity and satisfaction. The third is embracing adaptability. Just as AI systems adapt and improve through learning, we can also embrace adaptability in our lives. The ability to learn from experience, adjust to new information, and continuously improve is crucial for success in a rapidly changing world. Whether it's adopting new technologies, it is essential to learn new skills, to adapt to changes in our environment, and to stay flexible and to open to change. The last one, balancing completeness and consistency. This mindset is a real nuclear weapon, my friend. Gödel reminds us that no system can be both entirely complete and consistent. You cannot get all. This balance is important to consider in AI and other areas. For instance, in decision making, understanding the limitations of our systems and approaches can help us make better decisions and avoid potential pitfalls. In summary, first principles thinking, optimization, adaptability, and balancing completeness with consistency are valuable lessons that we can draw from AI and apply to various aspects of our life. By integrating these principles into our approach, that we can become more innovative, efficient, and adaptable, better equipped to tackle the challenges of the modern world. Okay, that's all that I'm sharing today. Thanks for listening. This is Evan from China. Let's keep learning and sharing. See you in the next episode. Bye bye.